All right, mate. You stuffed up, mate. You stuffed up. Oh, no. What have you done? What have you done? This is a stuff up. You've made a mistake. You didn't watch the videos. What do you mean I didn't watch the videos? You didn't watch... Oh, I'm busy. Oh, I haven't got time. You waffle on too much. Well, guess what, guys? I know you're really good at this because you've figured it all out, but you need to watch all the videos till the end. I'll give you an example. This is what's happened here, right? And it's created a whole heap of extra work. I've got to say, I was supervising this EGR clean originally. I supervised the job, and there was massive difficulties getting bolts started. In particular, which bolts, it's a bit hard to see now. I probably should have done the video before I put it all back together after I fixed it. So basically, the upside end bolts that come off the EGR cooler at the back here that go underneath the back. Now, let me just pause for a minute there. If you haven't watched, look, please put your hand up if you've seen our full detail EGR clean video. Oh, that's right, I can't see you. Anyway, please comment. There you go. Please comment if you've seen the full detail EGR video and you used it. And I've got a question for you. Please tell me, do I say in that video how to clean the EGR and what fluids I clean it with? Because a few people have been asking, oh, but what do you clean it with? And I'm just thinking, have they even watched that video? And the main question is, I've got a question for you guys, right? And I'm going to tell you what went wrong and how to avoid it. And this is going to be a short version for lazy people that don't want to spend an hour or two watching videos to get their maximum education learning. Because, guess what? I learned from my mistakes. So you don't have to make mistakes and learn. You can just do it the right way the first time. But you've just got to watch the videos. Anyway, what I want to know is, in that, do I clearly explain when you bolt the EGR up, right? So for most people that have been watching, they're familiar with EGR intake elbows. This doesn't show too much detail. We've already got the intercooler back on. But this is the EGR valve here. In the elbow section, it goes down to the manifold, right? There's 3 bolts that go in the manifold. 1 at this side, 2 at the other side. Then you've got 3 nuts, 1, 2, and 1 at the other side. Basically, that clamp the EGR valve here together. Then you've got 2 nuts at the top here, a couple of bolts at the bottom, and you've got your upside down ones that come in underneath, the 2 little 10 mils, right? And then you've got your one on the mounting bolt that's sort of around here underneath that plug, around there somewhere anyway. You know what I mean, it's around there. The people that know. The people that done this know what I'm talking about. So, was I really clear in that video? Or was it another video where I said, listen carefully, or you'll stuff this up and make life hard for yourselves? And a lot of people still do this, right? They do make life hard for themselves and sometimes other people, depending who's got to fix it. So let's make it easier for yourselves every time you do one of these jobs, especially guys in the trade. And this is the order of business when you're putting an EGR back on, and I'll try and explain why. And it would have been better if I had it pulled apart. You have the assembly, the elbow, the EGR valve, and that spacer in your hand. You don't put the throttle body on. You don't put this part back on. Leave that on the bench. So you've got 3 pieces. You're going to slot the EGR valve through and put the 3 nuts on, right? Finger tight. That way, the EGR valve can still slip freely because you've got 3 different components, if you like. And one at this end definitely has to bolt down to the manifold. And the one at this end has to bolt to that clamp. And in the middle, you've got the EGR cooler that comes underneath, and it has to bolt to the bottom of the EGR valve. And those 3 alignments may be different to each other. So what you do is, that's why these nuts, what nuts am I talking about? Hard to show you, but one's there, near the end of my finger, right there, right? And the other one's below it, and the other one is over the other side of the EGR valve. That allows these 3 different components to twist differently to each other. We're talking millimeters or less. If you get that together as an assembly, if you put the throttle body on, you're just making it bigger and heavier to handle. There's no need to. It's easier to just put these nuts on later. Believe me, I've done it all the different ways, right? Just do it the easy way. 3 components. Leave those 3 nuts loose, finger tight, so that you can still twist, you know what I mean? Get your 3 bolts in the manifold done up. Then get the bolt in the stay up here, not on the EGR valve, on the last section that you got up here. You'll see there's a bracket there. It's a 12 mil. It's a little bit longer than the other 2 that go into the manifold. Get that started. Don't do any of them up tight yet. Just get them started, right? Then Get your upside down 210 mils that go from the bottom of the E-jar cooler to the bottom of it. Get them started. While everything's loose, you should be able to do these up all the way by hand without any difficulty whatsoever. And it's even better if you add some grease to the threads, because it'll help prevent some corrosion, it'll provide some lubrication, and happy days, right? And at that point, I just want to slot in there that if you're in Victoria, don't go to Queensland or North Queensland to buy a car. The best cars are in Victoria because they don't go on beaches. Everybody around Australia, sorry, but the best cars are in Victoria because they stay away from the salt water and the beaches. Doesn't mean they're all perfect, doesn't mean none of them came from interstate, but generally your cleanest vehicles, and it's good weather conditions, mechanically, you're going to find a lot of awesome vehicles in Victoria, especially if they've been garaged. But anyway, back onto the story. What's happened with this one, I know, they might have been trying something different, maybe they were lazy, watching videos, whatever, but the whole assembly was bolted together, the nuts were done up tight, there was a lot of trouble getting all the bolts started, doing up all the bolts, and I'll tell you what happened. Came back in for other work, and there was all oil and stuff down here, right? It was leaking out, not bad, you know, customer wasn't complaining or anything, but I'm pretty fussy when I see it. You can't see it too bad now, but at that join there, right? See there? Because what happens is you've got that whole assembly locked into a certain position, and the bracket at this side pulls it that way, and the E-jar cooler pulls it that way, and it's twisting around. So if you've got that locked in a different position, then you can't quite get enough pressure on these bolts because they go into alloy. See that one there I'm talking about, that one, and there's two at the other side. You can't get enough on them to get it to pull down and seal up properly so you don't get a leak. And what the leak is, it's just a very small amount of oil, but it's untidy. As you can see, there's a bit, see that oil down there? It's not too bad, but it's bad enough, you know. Look, we've done a service, there's a bit of other oil down there. It hasn't been cleaned up yet. You can see the oil at the bottom of the oil filter and stuff like that. This is going to get a really good clean up, and next time I see it, it better be bloody spotless clean or I won't be happy. And that would mean it's one of those Queensland things, because we heard about it from someone and we thought it was a bit of a joke, the oh, it only happens in Queensland. We used to joke around, you know, oh, only in Queensland, oh, completely different Victoria to Queensland. And we're sort of joking around somewhat, but it's actually quite serious, because we've seen a pattern with vehicles that have come from Queensland, you know, they've had their life there, where things are more brittle, deteriorated, broken, falling to pieces, if you like, or rust bucket type thing, you know what I mean? Like, you know, you can find some rust pretty easy where, you know, pretty bad like that, where you wouldn't find it on a Victorian car usually, you know, unless it's come from there. Anyway, guys, the lesson was the procedure. The lesson is watch the videos till the end, okay? So we're just about done. Give me a couple more minutes, right? Watch all the videos till the end. If you're going to do an E-jar clean, watch that movie. We'll call it a movie, full detail E-jar clean. It goes for about an hour and 40 something minutes, I think. Heaps of people have put some awesome comments. It's one of our most popular videos. Heaps of people have used it to clean the E-jar. But just because you watch that one doesn't mean you know it all. We've got a playlist there, right? I think it's called E-jar cleaning or E-jar information. Watch all of those. Learn about the E-jar. Learn about why you should clean it, why you shouldn't, what you're going to do to solve or reduce the problem. Try and understand it a bit. That's the key thing. And listen to the information. You know, the other little tip I'm going to say, many years ago I was taught you only retain or remember 10% of what you read and 10% of what you hear. So that means if you want to be a smart cookie, you watch or you listen 2 or 3 times minimum the same thing. You read the book again, read the book. Have you ever noticed with your favourite movie, every time you watch it, you can watch a movie that's good, and a couple of years later you sort of, oh yeah, I've seen that, oh yeah. And if you watch it again, it'll sort of come back to you, but you don't really remember the movie. I don't know, that's what I get. I've got a pretty good memory, but if I watch Bad Boys, what you gonna do? You know what I mean? I watched it 10 times, mate, you know, like I can tell you the whole movie. I could just sit here and just bang minute by minute and tell you what happens, you know. You could be watching over there on silent and I'll tell you what's happening on the next scene and that sort of thing. So that's the whole point. You want to get good at it before you attempt, especially if you're purchasing the injector kit and you're going to get in the VIP group. watch the videos. Don't get your, I've said this before, don't get your kit and rush in. There's a whole heap of smart people who've paid their deposit. They got in the VIP group. Not a whole heap really, just a few. They're doing their homework. It's not a hurry to get your parts. It's not a hurry to get them in there. That's where you're going to make a mistake. It's always the people that get the kits and get the parts in there quickly are the ones that forgot this or forgot that, broke this, broke that, lost this, anyway, you get the picture. Watch the videos. Quickly run you through it again. The 3 nuts on the back of the EJ valve, they're nuts. There's no other nuts. Everything else is a bolt, pretty much, more or less, other than these 2 nuts, right? But we're leaving this throttle body here off. It's just the other 3 pieces. Goes on nuts loose. Get all the nuts and bolts started. Then once you're happy, tighten the 3 onto the manifold, right? Then you can tighten, I'd nip up the ones on the bottom, the 10 mils a little bit, tighten up the one on the bracket on the stay, get that firm, get the one underneath firm, and while you're putting those on, of course, you've still got this bolt underneath here, not to forget. There's another tip, I've said it heaps of times, do not forget that bolt. You'll end up with a broken EJAR cooler, they break underneath there. That's your final tip. For the people that hung around to the end, and now is the time to go and give us the thumbs up. Please press the like button. Hopefully I've saved you some more headaches in myself if anybody's going to work on cars that I'm ever going to see again. Please do it right, no oil leaks. Make it easy for yourselves by following the procedures that I've learnt from making all the mistakes myself, okay? Been there, done that. Okay guys, like button, that's the thumbs up. Thank you, subscribe, bell on, I'm out of here. Bada bing, bada boom, alright?